Hey all, welcome back to Shah. In the previous video, we created teacher and students profiles. Now our system has teachers and students, but we still don't have a class. The problem is, without a class and attendance system make no sense. How will you mark present? In which class? Today, we will build the class management system. But before we code, let's understand how a class structure works in real-world schools. Before we start, I have a quick update. My primary Ubuntu system is currently out of order due to some technical issues. So I am recording today's video on this alternative system. However, the mission continues and the code stays top-notch. Now question is, why is class structure important? In a real school, it works like this. Class 10 might have 3 sections, 10A, 10B and 10C. Each section has a class teacher and each section continues different students. If we don't build this structure and just keep class 10 as a simple string in the student profile, what problems will we face? First, consistency. Anyone could type anything. 10A, 10-A or class 10A. These would all be treated as different records. Second, assignments. You wouldn't be able to formally assign a teacher to a specific class. Third, attendance. It would be nearly impossible to generate accurate attendance reports. The professional approach is to keep the class as separate collection, just like we did with the school collection. So inside our model folder, create class.js, import Mongoose from Mongoose, const class schema, new mongoose.schema. First of all, school ID is Tenant Isolation. Which school does the class belong to? Type mongoose.schema.types.ObjectId. Reference school required true. Name type string required true. Trim true. Section type string required true. Trim true. Uppercase true. Always save in capital letters. Class teacher. Type mongoose.schema.types.ObjectId. Reference user. Default null. Timestamps true. Ensure the combination of class plus section is unique with a school. For example, 10A cannot be created twice in the same school. Class schema.index, school ID 1, name 1, section 1. Unique true. Export default mongoose.model. Class schema. The compound index is the most important part here. School ID plus name plus section together. These three makes a record unique. This means in school ABC, class 10 can only be created once. However, school XYZ can also have a class 10. This is the core of Tenant Isolation. Now we need to make a change in the student profile. Class in the student profile is a string. We need to remove that and replace it with a reference to the class collection. Open student profile file and apply this change. class ID, type mongoose.schema.types.objectId, reference class, default null. The difference is that previously the students class was just a random string. Now it is the link to an actual class record. This is the professional way to do it. Now create class controller in your controller folder. Import class from class.js. Import user. Import student profile. Import roles. Export const create class async. Request rest arrow function. Try catch block. Destruct the body. Const name section class teacher. If a class teacher is provided, confirm they belong to the same school. If class teacher, const teacher, await user.find1 underscore id class teacher. School id request.user.school id. Roles.teacher. If not teacher, return rest.status404.json message teacher not found in your school. Const new class, await class.create. Name, section, class teacher or null. School ID request.user.school ID. It's taken from the server side, not the front end. Rest.status 201.json. Success 2. Message class created successfully. Data new class. Inside catch block, handling duplicate class error. If error.code is equal 11100, return rest.status 400.json. Message request.body.name and request.body.section already exist in your school. Console the error, create class error, response status file 00.json. Message server error, please try again. Export const get class. Async request rest arrow function. Try catch block, const classes, await, class start point, school ID, request.user.schoolid, dot populate class teacher, name, email. Get teacher's name and email. Dot stored, name 1, section 1. Stored by name and section. Test.status 200.json. Success 2. Count classes.length. Data classes. Inside catch block, we will copy the code from the catch block above and paste it here, making minor adjustment. Enroll students in class by admin. Export const enroll student. Async. Request rest. Try catch block, const class ID, request.parent, const student ID, request.body. Ensure the class belongs to the same school. Const exist class is equal await class.find1. Underscore ID, class ID, school ID, request.user.school ID. If not class exists, return rest.status 404.json. Message class not found in your school. Ensure the student belongs to the same school. Const student await user.find1. Underscore ID, student ID, school ID, request.user.school ID, roles.student. If the student is not found, we send a student not found response. We just copy the class not found if statement above and change class to student. Update the class ID in the student profile. Await student profile dot find one and update. User ID, student ID. Class ID. Test.status 200.json. Success true. Message student enrolled successfully. For the the catch block, we will copy the code from the previous function and make the necessary change. View students of a specific class. Export const get class student. Pasting. Request rest. Try catch block. Const class ID request.parents. Ensure the class belongs to the same school. If not class exists, return response. Class not found in your school. Const student await StudentProfile.find. Class ID.populate. User ID, name and email. Copy and paste the response from above and make the required changes. Again, copy the catch block and make adjustments. Now create class routes.js file in your route folder. Import all necessary items. Import express. Import create class, get class, enroll student, get students from class controller. Also import protect and authorize enrolls. Const router, express.router. Admin create and view classes, router.post / protect authorize roles.admin. Router.get protect authorize roles.admin roles.teacher get classes. Router.post / class ID / enroll protect authorize roles.admin enroll student. Router.get / class ID / student protect authorize roles.admin roles.teacher get class students. Export default router. Inside index.js, import class routes. App.use / API / classes. class route. Now testing. Let's start the server and begin our tests. Server is running, but here is the file extension error here. The system isn't recognized the file extensions in the imports within the class route file. So let's fix those. This same issue exists in the class controller file, so we will correct that too. I will just add extensions to all files to solve this permanently. Now the server has restarted and MongoDB connected is displayed. Let's open Postman. As I mentioned earlier, due to some issue with my Ubuntu laptop, I am using this Windows system today. I am using the Postman app here, and this also contains my SaaS application collection. I will add a new request name add class. The method will be post, and we will set the path to provide the admin credentials. In the barrier token, I am using the same token we saved in our TMP file for the admin. Fill the data in the body. Name class 10. Section A. We will provide the teacher ID, which is also saved in our TMP file. Now click send. Result class created. Now let's try the create class 10A again in the same class to see if our system prevents it. I will remove the teacher ID and send it again. Result class 10A already exists in your school. This means our system is working perfectly, because while a school can have different sections for the same class, it cannot have duplicate section for the same class. Now let's add section B. Result class 10B created because the section is different. I will save this response as well, as we will need it later. Now add a new request named enroll student. Method post, set the path. In this path, we need to send the class ID of the class we want to enroll the student. I will take the class ID from the object we just saved. In the body, we need to send the ID of the student we want to enroll. I have the ID ready. Let's add it here. Send. Oh, I might have provided the wrong class ID. Let me copy it again. Now let's send the request again. And result, student enrolled successfully appeared in our response. Today we completed class management first. We understood why we keep class as a separate collection rather than just a string. Second, we implemented a class plus section compound index so the duplicate class cannot be created within a single school. Third, we built the flow of the enrolling student into a class. Now our system has a school, teacher, student, and classes. In the next video, we will build the attendance system which will utilize this entire structure. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Goodbye.